Hi everyone, Nat Richards from Totem Migration here. A few of you may already have seen my videos from Techs on the Move, which is of course our sister company. That business is absolutely dedicated to trying to bring automotive tradespeople to Australia for different visas than we're regularly talking about at this stage, now that the Australian government has taken the unprecedented steps, understandably, of closing our borders down and minimising our migration footprint during the COVID-19 or coronavirus crisis that we're currently gripped by. So we're now, as a registered migration agency with lots of experience playing our trade here in Australia, we're pivoting across to help people out who are finding themselves unfortunately stuck in Australia without a clear-cut path on how they might return back home to their country of origin, whether that's because borders have been closed or flights are physically impossible to find. So the video that I've put together here is a quick snapshot of what to expect or what you must know around the subclass 600 visitor visa, which we know of course is an exceptionally common visa for people to come to Australia with or to use to stay here for an extended period of time. It typically is a visa focused on having a holiday here when things are going well. But in this circumstance, it is going to be the visa of choice for an awful lot of people to stay in Australia legally and do things the correct way, hopefully bunker down until times improve and we can all go back to some sense of normality. The 600 visa is a visa that the Australian government has come out and said will be receiving their priority treatments through this crisis time. So they fully expect that 600 visas will be the visa of choice for an awful lot of folk out there to lean on. They are giving it priority treatment. And as part of that approach, the Department of Home Affairs, which is of course the department that the Australian government charges with handling these things, they've said that they will try to be as lenient on criteria as possible in the face of this threat, which of course is something that they're not really known for. They are quite stuffy about what they do. So the 600 visa in a nutshell, of course, in this circumstance is going to be the visa of choice for people to remain here legally without crossing over into being called an unlawful non-citizen, which has further ramifications that I'll talk about in other visa videos that you should find very easily if you found this one. Now, importantly, the 600 visa is applied for onshore. So if you're already in Australia and you've applied for this thing onshore, you're going to need to look at doing so again. You may be coming onto a 600 visa from another visa and using it as a way to stay here legitimately. The 600 visa is not something that you can normally apply for very easily a second time. So it is normally a one-shot visa. That is not necessarily the case at the moment though, given these unusual circumstances. So typically this visa does tend for most people that have one on their grant notice to carry a condition called 8503, which is no further stay. And this is a condition that a lot of people actually find on different visas as well. There is no blanket approach to that, so I can't speak confidently about everyone's visa that might be watching this video right now. The 8503 no further stay condition is ultimately designed by the Australian government to stop people from staying here for an extended period of time and using different visas to bounce around and extend their stay in Australia without really having a lot of genuine merit to do so, which obviously doesn't really apply in this situation. However, they're not just allowing people to extend existing visas exponentially without giving them good reason as to why they need to do so and explaining their circumstances. So as a registered migration agency with tons of experience, we're perfectly placed to help people get together 8503 waiver applications to try to make sure that they don't run into any legal problems securing further visas to stay in Australia without doing so unlawfully. Another good question that we're seeing asked already an awful lot online and coming directly to us as migration agencies: can I find work rights with the Australian government's help on a visa like the 600? And the answer, generally speaking, has always been no. It applies to only a very, very few select people who have very specific circumstances. However, there is every possibility, given the Australian government is well aware of the circumstances we find ourselves in, that they take a different approach here, trying to recognise that people are doing their best to keep their lives together. Exactly what to expect? We don't know. So typically speaking, work rights on a visa like this would only be granted in circumstances where typically someone can show that they've been in Australia already with a visa that does have work rights, that they've been working for an Australian business, and that visa wants to continue employing them for their own benefit as a part of the greater good of the Australian economy itself. If that applies to you, awesome. We'd be more confident that you perhaps can get an extended work right with the help of an agent like us. But aside from that, it's a little bit of an unknown. So there's no way to answer that question in this context. We absolutely need to consult and talk about what your circumstances are before we can try to gather any idea around whether or not that's viable. So that's part of an open invitation for anyone that's watching this video that needs to find a legal way to stay in Australia through this coronavirus crisis to reach out to us for help, which is exactly what we're here to do. So please, wherever you found this video, follow us through, drop us a line, let us know what we can do to help. If you'd like to check us out online, that's www.totemigration.com.au. You'll be able to get in contact with us immediately via email there. We've got a couple of different phone numbers for us in the office in Sydney where you can call or text us with any questions you've got. We'd love to get into a consultation with you as quickly as we possibly can, which won't cost you a cent to get all the answers you need before you start making commitments around your future. I hope that helped. Look forward to hearing from you soon if we can help.